Welcome to our 4 o'clock first and third Sunday PPW. We have our featured guest Clive here, and he will be beginning with three select pieces, which he'll be telling us perhaps more about, certainly performing, and we'll have the opportunity to provide affirmation and feedback, and then each person will have an opportunity to perform later on in the show. So welcome, Clive. We can't thank you for coming, and we can't wait to hear your work and see your performance. Hear your performance.
I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to come with Gail Alcock, who's sitting to my right, somewhere here in this. Oh, there she is.
Hi, Gail.
She was here, and this was the beat with sound, isn't it, Karen?
Yeah, exactly. The beat with sound. For those who don't know, Clive is one of the original beat poets. Okay,
Wow.
he wrote alongside Ginsberg, Allen Ginsberg, Diane DePrima, and many, many others of that ilk. And I'm so pleased he's a friend of mine, and he's a remarkable poet. And his 200-page epic poem, is it 200 pages now? Hello Paradise, Paradise Goodbye is being published this fall by New Beat Publishing, which is part of the National Beat Poetry Foundation umbrella. And Clive is, for those who don't know, he is a lifetime Beat Poet Laureate here in the United States.
Wow.
So that's why it's a real we're lucky it's a blessing to have him here with us. All right, there's more about Clive, but that just is in a nutshell. That's my man, Clive Matson.
Thank you, Karen. Helpful to know that. Makes it
Just
even more of an honor.
to support her statement. If I were first generation, I'd have a joint and I'd be passing it around, and a
Right.
big beard, and a bottle of vodka or a gallon of wine in my pocket, which I'd be handing around. But I'm second generation, not the first generation. They were all 10 or 20 years older than me. I was started as a kid on the scene, and I actually started with them at the Gate of Horn reading in Chicago. I was a student at the University of Chicago, and I had no idea what was going on in town, but I had a friend who knew, and he said, "You got to come to this reading." And it was the reading of the Chicago Review that had been thrown off campus because the editor loved the beat poets. And Ginsberg did for the editor what he did to a lot of people. He said, "You can publish me if you also publish." And then he listed his friends in the generation. And Irving Rosenthal did that. But of course, the administration had to look at what he was doing. And they told him, "No, you can't do that." Irving's reply, "Yes, I can." And he took the issue off campus, and it became the first issue of Big Table. And the reading was marvelous. They were passionate, they were real, they wrote to communicate, unlike the opaque stuff you hear today. And they were a great contrast to what was happening at the university. And that's where I fell in love with them, was at that reading. That's back in 1959.
Awesome.
So second generation beat poetry. Shall we start?
Go.
Clive,
Yes.
that fascinated me when you said right to communicate. And as a writer, as you keep in mind your process and your inspiration,
Mhm.
um, are there any key points that you keep in mind when you evaluate your work, or as you stay in the process to keep yourself conscious of that key component, which is not only writing but how we perform and how we stay sensitive to what we're communicating to our audience? Because I think that is a key point. One thing that I could even learn more about, and it certainly is. I think it's fascinating to me. I wonder if you wanted to expand on that a little bit.
Sure, it's mostly instinct, but my own training with the beats and synths has told me how important it is to get into the passion of the piece. And we may think we understand what's going on, but if we're not also including our own personal passion about it, it doesn't work very well.
Nice.
And when I first heard Gail on the cello, I thought, that's what she's doing that's so good, is she's listening to the passion or the emotion of the piece, and she's talking with it in the music. She's talking to the lines, she's underlining them or amplifying them or doing a riff on them, but it's the feeling. And my own work, I'm pretty interested in peeling away our denial. We have a way of getting through life or getting through the day by not seeing some things. And I want to include the feeling in our responses, all the way from the vulnerability and frailty to the passion. I
Nice.
think that's what the cellist hears, which is what delights me so much. Uh, I think, Karen, one of your questions was, what would I say to people who want to perform with a musician? There was one event when Gail couldn't come, and the host said, "Oh, we have a guitar player. He can play with you." I said, "Great." And he did. He was fine, except he didn't know the piece. He wasn't relating to the emotion. It was a nice kind of background. It's like it was somewhere in the behind. It wasn't what Gail does. So you'll hear that when she plays.
Awesome.
But the musician needs to know the work, and the work needs to have some way of following it, if not the way that I do it, something that keeps you engaged, keeps the music engaged. So shall we start?
Yes, thank
Please
you,
do.
Clive, for your patience and generosity in answering those questions. We'd love to hear your work, and Gail as well.
We're very happy to be here. Molecule Daisies. Mostly empty space, this molecule, and I'm standing on it. A skeleton sprawled on the median, fleshless and clean. Its support, one molecule at pelvis, one at heel, one at skull. A spray of grass pokes through the rib cage. I am doing what good thing? Balance check. Going shopping. $1 in my pocket. On a thin sidewalk of yellow leaves, people walk by, not talking. Maybe if I smile at this one, maybe if I look away. Any twig, flower, or bit of dust could fall out of the sky and scrunch on another bug fluffed into dirt, sieved by a sieve. Roam the body, legs move, insides burble, black flat, balance check, float on a meniscus of good feeling. A guitar grate rattles, bony fingers twist at the bars, a skeleton tries climbing out, brown string and 3 tomatoes in its teeth. Here comes a thought, kick it out before it sinks me. Away flies the yellow sign, tape and hinged words flapping. The bank and office building tilts. Is this a backflip into the street? Turn head at an angle. There, level stays level. The world's skin is 1 molecule thick, and I've got it between my toes. Molecule meets molecule. An upside down world below the street, balance check. Cherry pits, a working elbow, old carrot smell, burp. Garbage eats itself because it feels bad. Dismembered daisies clutter sidewalks. He loves me, she loves me not. She loves me, he loves me not. A thin scatter of porcelain, steel, titanium, vinyl yellow petals. Air goes in the lungs gently. Breathe it out my front. Keep below the asphalt, you cemetery, crawling with bones and spiders, one molecule distant. Balance check. Mosquitoes come from the river, with proboscis extended. Molecule slurp. Maybe if I smile at the next face. Maybe if I say hello. One toe on the sidewalk, balance check. One toe on a molecule. $1 in my pocket. Going to the market. Walking on a daisy petal bridge above a boneyard. Don't fall in. She changes
Lovely.
every time. Yes, go ahead.
That was lovely, Clive.
Thank you. You hadn't heard that one, had you, Karen?
No, I hadn't. It's beautiful. And Gail, you did a great job.
Thank
You're
you.
just really nice. You stayed the whole time. Your sound was there the whole time. It was very nice.
I love the poem too.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's from 2002. Shall we do another one?
Yeah.
She changes every time, so it's an adventure for me to hear what she does. So we realized when we were looking at poems to do that I'm going to market in that one, and I have a poem called Going to Market. So it's more recent. I'll do that one. Going to Market. Going to market in first corona days of the sixth mass extinction. White clouds and blue sky shrink layer by layer to the far horizon. Side effect of the virus, clean air and minor sound. No particulates and no dioxides from idle machines. Walker approaches. Danger, danger. Elastic bubbles project around front to 6 feet, avoiding collisions, muggings, macking, and smallpox. And now, trillions of colorful little spiked balls, maybe emanating from you, maybe emanating from me. To mask or not to mask? Open the market door using wrestler techniques. Turn sideways, elbow out, hook door handle, push, slide, turn, and walk in. To glove or not to glove? Grapes, dark chocolate, pistachios, examine bananas, dish soap, and the store's first hand wipes in 10 days. Couldn't find TP. What quantity? For 2 months? 2 days? Drag my thoughts through a sea of gluey tension. No stress, no stress. Clerk smiles and nods, a gentle connection. We handle the receipt with fingertips, mine sanitized, his gloved. If I could migrate this foundation compassion a half step closer, my heart would rejoice 100 steps closer. Last dollar bill the clerk touched might have carried 14 poisons, ending with HIV, MERS, meth, and now COVID-19, from nurse of a patient on ventilator and struggling to breathe. Don't touch your face. Tap 4-digit pin on keyboard, spray sanitizer on fingers, wrists, keyboard, receipts. Wonder on the way out, was I thorough enough? Can I retrace my steps one tentative foot in front of the other? A pair of towies hop across the neighbor's gray stairs, beeping as usual. No change, no change. 44th Street residents meet on porch and stoop, loop hellos and arm waves and hip hop steps across 2 lanes of virus free air, or virus laden air. To mask or not to mask. Hummingbird flits in and out, tiny blue flowers in front yard, darts up and perches on electric wire exact size of its skinny legs, peers down. Still here, these bipeds? What happened to hurry up disease? And where's FOMO? I lost my fear of missing out. There's nothing out to miss. One hot summer's dehydration could slay the virus. Invisible mist in invisible air. Those minuscule clove oranges ripen their ubiquitous corpses for scavengers in micro worlds. No stress, no stress. Walker with dog approaches. Danger, danger. Steps around parked car, skirting what I might, he might, they might carry. Waves, smiling. Hello, nice day. Subtext, thanks for the consideration. Compassion and self-care link perfectly in the first corona days of the 6th mass extinction. Don't touch your mouth, don't touch your eye. Are we looking at sky for the last time? Will we wake again to another beautiful day in the 6th mass extinction?
Bravo, bravo, Clive.
The dog barked, but he was a little late, a little early.
Well, he tried.
He tried, yeah. Right impulse dog. Remember in the first days of the virus, we thought that it might, just one hot summer's day might slay it. So that poem's dated because of that line, because we thought that was a possibility. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
I really enjoyed the way you captured the inner workings that no stress, danger, danger, all that, because that was all the chaos. It
Yeah.
was just all the chaos of it. And Gail, you played more on this one than you did the last time I heard it in Berkeley. You played more. Did you play it differently? Do you feel you played it differently?
Oh, well, I just start with a little bit of material, and then I improvise off of that. So I have just this little bit of idea that's the same.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was loping down the street with you.
Well, mostly the idea I had was just that it's kind of has a sauntering,
Yeah,
it's kind of carefree on the surface.
right, exactly.
Ironic. Okay, that's Clive. So
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to be that character.
6th mass extinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He talks about the worst stuff in this sort of chipper way. That's got some humor all the time.
We're here. We're still right in the middle of the 6th mass extinction.
Yeah.
It's happening all around us.
I just wanted to say the words are beautiful, the musical accompaniment. For me, I'm in LA, but it put me in New York. It took me back to younger years, the music did. I love that all the repetition when you say no change, to mask or not to mask. I mean, just the whole thing. It's an experience. This is truly an experience. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Good comments. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had one more. What was it?
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to the market.
Oh, yeah, potato chips.
And now we're going for potato chips.
The potato chips, I have to just say, I heard this poem once, and since then I almost can't eat potato chips anymore. Clive, go.
So this is part 25 of the poem that's coming out from the National Beat Poetry Foundation. Part 25. Light embraces everything, everywhere the same. into the market for a potato chip. 40 flavors in one cabinet, 50 the next. In the aisle, 450. Ice cream, same count. Same count water, milk, wine, doubled count. Butter, vitamins, power bars. 450 and one chip speaks to you, to me, nifty. Profusion, confusion, contusion, illusion, one tinge, infused with turmeric, saline blue, perfect for the individual, perfect for me, for you, no waste. Multinationals tuned to your special taste. Say it loud, aren't you proud? Look what we've handed down. Ah, geez, so what? It's a potato chip. One salty, tasty capitalism tidbit, one splotch on the table. Don't trip. Slippery slope ably greased with jizz, someone else's jizz. Feed me taste so I won't grok my own. Clang, your entire being knows you're alone. One among 450 and no touch. Face, chest, arms, hands, thighs, legs. No leisure, no contact, no bone. And skin-covered galaxies inside are opaque. Loneliness, the ache, too deep to grasp. Motherfuck, they got you, got me. We're marketeered. Tsunami caresses our sweet spot, and we splash down in the river of tears. Stay healthy, work soft, be tender, get fit, stay woke, be cool. Sparkling clear TV screens rotate on wheels, behind wheels, beyond wheels, before wheels. Actors, singers, spinning, caressing gently your fragile, sensitive wrinkles, each one more intimate, and which one will reveal how to be more beautifully yourself. The rich, the healthy, the happy, realized people doing exactly what they want, so you can too. A siren song calls up your tender G-spot place. A smiling, sly, exquisite face proffers one secret desire. Yours, mine. Every such spirit is terrifying. Ein jeder Anhel ist schrecklich. Feed me images so I don't have to feel. Dude, they're acting. They're paid to look like that, so you will try that look. Why do you feel like you're a marketing experiment? Because you are a marketing experiment. Turn around and I'm next, marketeer. Happy-go-lucky, singing a song. How could we go so terribly wrong? In one geologic instant, everything gelled. 13.8 billion years from the Big Bang, we learned how psychology works. We learned how to sell. Take it to the banks, marketers, who would have figured it out without your help, Freud. But thanks. Say it loud. Aren't you proud? Look what we're handing down. Ably greased with jism. Someone else's jism. Peril in the garden. The garden in peril.
Wow.
Did you ever do that? Play to that one? That was great.
That was nice, you guys.
She's not answering me.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but we have to show our audience here. We'll show you who's listening.
Oh yeah. He didn't have a place in that poem.
Oh, that's the dog.
Pretty good, huh? Look at those ears.
So You know, Clive, I think that poem is also in Last Light, the Broken Spine Arts publication
Was
that's
it?
coming out in a few months. You remember that we submitted some work to them for you?
I've forgotten entirely.
Okay, well, trust me. Broken Spine Arts is they're putting out a collection. Last Light, and this piece that you just read is gonna be in that collection.
Great.
Okay, I'll get you a copy, but so there you go, you guys. It's gonna be available in Last Light, that one segment, as well as the larger body of work and Hello Paradise, Paradise Goodbye. And I did put in the chat his website, so you can find out more about him.
Would you do me a favor, Karen, and send me
Yeah.
that publication you mentioned?
Yeah, it hasn't been published yet, but you know what? Your first part, the introduction, is actually, I have a copy for you and a copy for me. The introduction to your book
Mhm.
is, can you see this? Is in here. I have a copy for each of us. The introduction to Hello
Beautiful.
Paradise, Paradise Goodbye is in this slimline After Hours, produced by Broken Spine Arts. They do a whole series of slimline, like 20 pages, collection, and your intro is in that one. That was the first one that they took of yours. And so the next one will be Last Light, which will have part 25 in it. Okay, so yeah, I've got a copy here for you.
Okay, great. I
Sorry,
don't
you
think
guys, personal business, sorry.
she made it
Uh,
sound like my introduction is 20 pages, right?
Your introduction is four. You know what? I took the first section of your introduction. It's four printed pages in the book.
Mhm.
And I think, or is it six? And I think part 25 is 4 pages in the second book. I think that's what we figured out we would do. Okay. Anyway, isn't Clive great, you guys?
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome, Clive.
Absolutely, Clive. It's first of all, thank you, Don, for recruiting Clive. Don always picks the world-class features, and it's always a delightful surprise to see different styles, different takes on poetry. And I hadn't known that there was a second. I mean, I could have done the math, a second generation of beats. And I don't know if there's a third, but I guess I was curious how did that happen in terms of in a was it I know Ginsberg went on to become a professor at a certain point, and I know Jack Kerouac died young, and I know there were some other prominent poets of the first generation. Um, how does that movement pass on from one generation to the next?
Well, I think that it was probably Ginsburg's going to turn over in his grave and laugh at me. I think he promoted it too well, and that the academics were put off by their rude behavior, by their beards and their love of alcohol and marijuana and hard drugs. Uh, but they were real and they were communicating, and that's what I heard. And they were very precise in what they did. Some of them were, not Ginsberg so much, but Michael McClure and John Wieners and Diane de Prima, and those are the ones that I studied. But the academics were not friendly to them, and the academic world really took over after them. And when I went back to get my MFA, and this is 1989, we'd get into conversations about the beats, and I heard maybe the beats mentioned twice by the professors in those 2 years, and neither time with any favor. And one of the students said, well, these professors are all just waiting for the beats to die out. And that's not, it speaks to our own denial that the academics couldn't find a way to see what was good about the beats and what was really moving us. And it wasn't the social persona. If it were, I'd have to get out my beard and stick it on and start handing you joints and offering maybe some methamphetamine power if you wanted. It's just there's some very, what was it? At that reading at Gate of Horn, there's something that happened. There was a moment, a few minutes, when people were asked questions, the artists were asked questions from the audience, and Gregory Corso was there, and they asked him what his influences were, and he just started with the canon. He started back with Homer and did other Greeks, and then up into the Romantics, Keats, and then up to Dante, and who's our great American poet of the mid 19th century who wrote the long
Whitman.
Whitman, yeah, Walt Whitman. Thanks.
Thanks. You're welcome.
I usually remember on Tuesday, Walt Whitman, and I thought, I'm 17, you know, I know, I think I know everything, and I listened to him, and I thought, he's lying. He's not telling us what, he can't be influenced by all those people. He's influenced by two or three of them, maybe. And so I knew better than he did. But a few years later, I realized after doing the MFA program and seeing how poorly any of the classics were studied, the Beats studied the Catholic, the Catechism, the Beats studied the canon. And they learned from them what makes poetry passionate, what makes it powerful. And one is the passion. And mainstream poetry is deliberately organized so that you can't figure out what it's about. And the passion is something that's up for discussion, but it's not obvious in the writing. It's not, it's a side interest in poetry. It's a little quirky poetry. And what needs to happen is to go back to something like the Beats that's honest, that communicates to people, that's passionate, and that's clear to be understood.
Well, I love that. I agree. I think passion and then kind of married to inspiration
Yeah.
is to me has to be the driving force where all the other things come together. And I certainly feel a passion for poetry from you. It's history, and in your performance, really what came through was um, for me, as Sharon mentioned, also like an experimental, like first the language you used, the words you used, their arrangements, certainly the poetic devices and techniques were present. But it was so unique to me. But of course, the style of communication with the music in the background, I thought it came most seamlessly in your third performance. But each thing communicated something, and it communicated a feeling. Um, each one its own unique feeling that culminated in the end. And I think that's the power of poetry because it can be something literal or it can be something indefinable, but it's got to communicate something. And you certainly did that today, Clive. Thank you.
Thank you for the analysis. That's very clear.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly what I'm trying to do. Thank you.
Will other people be reading?
Wonderful. Well, let's all honor Clive with our own performances. We hope we can do them justice. We certainly intend to. Um, I know I have something loosely related to the beats that I'll pick, hopefully in closure if we have time, but let's go with everybody first. In terms of the order of who arrived, who would like to, you guys know I came a little late. Who came first and would you like to perform a piece? Or we could pick an order.
Well,
We know the
Donna,
answer to this question. Everybody knows who was here first.
Well, there was here
Gee.
first, and there was here for the 4 o'clock first, right, Don?
Well, it was
But
kind of continuous, man.
there was a continuity there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So sorry I missed that. We can go in that order, or I can pick folks.
Well, it's your workshop, man. Do what you
I'll
want to
pick
do.
folks. I'd like to pick Karen because Karen, you were most familiar with Clive, and that might be a nice segue into some of our other because we're
okay,
familiar. Most of us are familiar with you, and that might be a nice way
all
to
right.
get us warmed up.
Let me say, Clive has been one of my consultants
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so we get a chance to work together on my work, and he really does help me get the bite in the butt in the work. So I do have a piece I'm going to read, and it's a piece that Clive is familiar with on page, but he's never heard me read it. So Clive, this is from the Still in the Sea series. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay. Midnight tsunami. Roof shingles slap, house trembles, hands to chest. I beat against a wall of you, a storm, reshaping my shelter, splintered thousands of lives ago. I see your face on the window, fingers on the doorknob, knocking me upside the head. Untamed sea of my gray matter swells. Salt sloshes into wounds. Memories hurt themselves. Bits of wind rip out. Nodes of where gash any sense of why. Hurricane fears crash onto the coastline of my thin skin. Blue heart already under tow. I cannot sleep, for the spin of your gales woes me. Fatigued, leagues below sea level, my eyes film, mouth opens, scales shed, still, still, still. I breathe. I I won't let you become my morning light. Thank you. Thank you. Yay. So Clive, how was it to hear it? Because you've only seen it on the page. Was
Yeah.
it good to hear it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And I really liked the ending as I did before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I come to the woes me, I think about you. So anyway, thank you all.
That's a
Thank
compliment.
you, Karen. Appreciate the animated performance. Always experience the energy from you. And you certainly hit us with a well executed punchline, which resonated certainly with me. So thank you, Karen.
Glad. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, what I like, one thing about Karen is she always brings performance technique and energy, and I hope everybody else brings that as well with their work. I certainly intend to. That's what we're here to do. This is performance poetry. Who wants to read their next poem? Perform it.
I'm going to say that I'm going to have to come back. I just came to listen. I was in the workshop yesterday and I didn't want to miss this. I didn't bring any work. I'm
Oh,
completely
well,
unprepared.
that's awesome, Sharon. Thank you for letting us know. We are grateful to have somebody in observation, and you're always welcome to observe. And when you're ready to perform, we can't wait to hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Rose, would you like to go? I know you've always got a poem, and we can't wait to hear you do your thing.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Let me share screen.
Okay.
Okay, the wind's journey. The morning wind awakes. I feel it passing by. It tousles my hair. It flirts with my skirt. The grasses bow down as it crosses the field. It ruffles the leaves of the autumn trees. It chases the clouds out of the sky, continues its journey, bending the reed along the river, and when it reaches the ocean, over the waves, it dances its way into the sunset.
Mm.
Very
So,
melodic.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Rose,
Yes.
the energy's up, the emphasis is pronounced. I love the rhythm of that poem. It's so tight, and everybody can feel the rhythm, and then like that, kind of returning to some at times rhyme sound,
Yes.
maybe even a loose rhyme. But I just enjoyed listening to that. That's an example of just auditory. I just love listening to it. I wasn't like like scrutinizing what it was about. And then
Mhm.
certainly it just was taking us through the course of a day. Is that about right?
Right.
The way the day moves.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
You definitely rocked a different style with that than I'm used to, Rose, and written and performed quite well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask her to read it.
Okay, we got the
Could we hear it
DKC.
again?
Oh,
Thank
pardon?
We want to hear it again.
Oh, they would like to hear it again.
Oh, really?
Clive would like to hear it again, and I think we have time for that. So, Rose, would you be one to read it again?
Oh, okay. Okay, sure, sure. Let me. Okay, the wind's journey. The morning wind awakes. I feel it passing by. It tousles my hair. It flirts with my skirt. The grasses bow down as it crosses the field. It ruffles the leaves of the autumn trees. It chases the clouds out of the sky, continues its journey, bending the reeds along the river, and when it reaches the ocean, over the waves, it dances its way into the sunset.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Clive.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, not just the course of a day, but the journey of the wind. And you can definitely now I can see the correlation between the movement of the wind and the style of the poem. So, thank you. That
Thank
was
you.
useful for me for sure.
You have to ask him.
Um,
where can
wonderful.
we have that poem?
What?
Where can I have the poem?
Okay. I will. I will let you know. I will send to you. How about
Do
You know,
email exchange. Do you guys want to exchange information in the chat
you can
Okay.
live.
I'll send chat
if
to
you're
you.
comfortable with
Okay.
that? You got
Yeah.
to get that
I'll
one
send.
published, Rose.
Huh?
That's when we need published and performed.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
I could even see you performing that, even more like, and then
Yeah.
as you perform on stage, taking on certain rhythms of the wind with your hand expressions and stuff like that. So that's got so
Okay.
many possibilities, both on page and on the stage.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rose. Any
Thank
other
you. Thank you.
affirmations for Rose?
Yes.
It
I,
was excellent.
I
Thank
Okay,
love,
now
you.
we got the DKC. Uh,
before you go on, I love your description of the loose rhymes.
Okay. Thank you.
God, and it is musical. It's very musical.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very
You
much.
might think loose is something bad, but these days,
Mhm.
real rhymes are kind of overdone. Loose rhymes are beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
The phrases, the
Mhm.
movement of the phrases
Yeah.
is so balanced. It's not symmetrical. It's not asymmetrical. It's so balanced. The
yeah.
flow.
It's a
Okay.
natural rhythm to it.
Thank you.
Rolls off the tongue. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
All right, DKC.
And the dog's review was really quite good for your poem, if you heard.
Sorry.
Very appropriate barks in the appropriate places. It was really nice. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah. Go on. You had your treat. You had dinner. So you can come here.
Thought I'd dive into a little spoken word.
Spoken word.
And the particular poem I'm thinking of is poem number 13, lucky number 13. Here it is. called Joe Sinctor. Hey, bud, I want to tell you something. Hey, don't walk away. I've got something to say. So what if we're not from the same neighborhood? I see you every day when I stop at this 7-Eleven. And I wonder if you noticed me driving through in my Nissan PU. Yes, I keep my rims so shiny. You can see yourself as I drive by. That's because I want you to notice I ain't no Weber. I know what it's like here. I stop, look around. People always in their own business. Standing at the bus stop, leaning against the store, or inside, playing the games. I buy my breakfast burrito and OJ. I see you, and I walk to my wheels and speed away through the intersection. But today I had to stop before I go into my work life. I had to stop because I wonder, what the hell are you thinking when you see me stopping? I had to stop because I wonder, what the hell is your life like tangent to mine? I'm just bugged, going to work, not talking to anybody except sense to the clerk. It's like I'm driving through water, so slow I can't hear nobody saying anything. I can't take it anymore. Punch me or something. Make me feel I belong in my world, in your world, in our busy, too busy world. Why are we so wrapped up in our own lives? Why are we here? Just to pass each other every day, make us feel we're in a social ball orbiting a vacuum that doesn't care if I die or you? Oh, sure. People will go to our funeral, especially if I pull out a gun and shoot your indifferent ass. Some guy with neat hair on the news will comment, we existed for 2 minutes. Lesson to us all. Hey, don't walk away. I don't have a gun. I just watch too much TV. How about you? You got a wife and a kid and a job and time to yourself in this world? Do you worry sometimes? Why are we here? Did we just end up replicating until the great forces eliminate all signs that we are here? Someday the sign will read, we were here, but there'll be nobody to read it. So what do we do now? We're standing here in front of 7-Eleven with cars in the street and work to do. Are we really keeping the world running? Ever heard of J. Alfred Prufrock? What are you, a poet or something?
Yeah.
Very nice.
That sounded to me like a new generation beat poet,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's like a carousel. It's
Yeah.
really spinning.
Yeah. And Mary Baraka was asked about who the Beats were, and he said, all this collection of people from all walks of life, he said this way back in 1950 something, who decided that society sucks. That's really got that attitude in it. That's terrific.
I love the signature sense of humor, Don. When it reaches the crescendo and it says, and the sign that says, we were here, but there'll be nobody here to read it.
That's what we got.
What I love, Don, is with your poems, so many different styles and so many different moods and so many different subjects. I think you are a poet or something.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah. So great poem. And any more feedback for Don? Okay. This
I got
poem
the
I'm
nod
about
of
to read,
affirmation from Rose. That's all I need. Hey, what up,
um,
Patrick? You take us out, man.
right? Oh, I'll do it
Yeah.
quick. I'll make it fast. It's
Okay.
called Ghost Ambition. It's actually a long poem, but I'll just read the first verse that goes into the chorus. And I'm reading it in honor of Clive, second generation beat poet, and the spirit of the beat and Don's poem, because you might sense some references here. And so it begins like this, and like I said, there's just like basically the first verse. From the great tempest I was born to be, when my fate was sworn and I was blessed to see, Tupac Amaru Shakur crowned with a halo of light, shining like a mirror through shadows at night. His eyes whispered psychically, planting in my mind eternal seeds, stretch into the soil of divinities, infernally. Go back and toil into the deep roots of poetry. Breathe with me the ghosts of several centuries. Hail Mary blew its call in the winds, and when it wildly rolled its spell rustling through the fall's flame, Ginsberg's fiery leaves fell to my soul hustling. Posy lit, salvaging the savage's ill, fresh rage, the beast of it still inside of this flesh cage. In the fall, risking it all, unloading when I bawl, like the beat penetrating, exploding forth powerfully, elegant, in effortless force, furiously, independently, like July 4th, Jack Kerouac, lit spider fireworks stretching wildly across the thickness of midnight. You too, black and blue skies, their glorious scene. Proof comes in the dawn as the sky with nobility shines colorfully, valiantly, emanating, radiating, rainbow benzodrine.
Nice.
Oh,
A lot of great consonants, a lot of great work with consonants in that one.
Oh, thanks,
Rainbow,
Karen.
I mean, just a lot of mouth. That's great.
Thank you. It's so much passion in that one, and it just was fun to read some of it. It's actually a big project I'm working on, and Clive inspired me to read it. So thank you, Clive, for kicking off with your beautiful features and your three pieces. You got us all inspired to do our thing today, and I think we're all better for it, getting our practice in on
Thank
the
you, dude.
first.
Listen, you're already 88% beat all the
Oh,
way through that one.
oh man. Oh, you
This
made
whole,
my day. Thank you, Clive. It's an honor. It's an honor.
And the
here,
way you
yeah.
transition smoothly from one topic to another. And so they're related, but they're different. And the movement and smooth
It's,
transitions.
yeah.
I'd have to hear it again. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Hopefully, God willing, with the grace of mankind, you will, Sharon. It's really a meaningful project to me. I'm working on. Don's gonna become aware of it soon. Trying to get it out to the world. But it comes from great passion, as Clive mentioned, and it's dear to my heart. And so it's the main thing. And I was happy to read you an excerpt from it. And I really appreciate the affirmation and validation. Really touches my heart. But I don't want to take too much of people's time. Everybody has their Sunday evening to enjoy the rest of. We got, Sunday night football out there and so many, or reading poetry, or so many things you guys can do, or visit with your family. Yes, Karen.
I was just gonna tell Clive, let's
Yeah.
chat this week, okay? Let's
Okay.
catch up, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Reach out, y'all. And
Thank you guys. It was a
And
we
is
hope
wonderful
this going
session.
on every Sunday performance? Or
first and third. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. And
okay.
we hope everybody returns, including features. We always encourage features to return. Sometimes they do. So Clive, we'd love to see you again. And we love you all.
Ciao.
Thank